everyone like through your career, especially when you're deciding what to do next, right? And you had that little waiting where you had to decide, okay, I'm going to wait for DOE. And then it's good that you had options, right? It's always good to have options. But thinking about that, because you're waiting, trying to get a DOE position, right? Working at home, right? You're born and raised here too. So what was your aspirations, I guess, even before the seasonal opportunity with the Chargers came up? Like, did you aspire to work at the high school setting, college, pro setting? What was some of your thoughts back then?
When I first got into the program, you hear about these pro positions, and then that's kind of that's a dream. That's a dream. Yeah. And then Eric made working at UH look cool. Yeah. I mean, he knew everybody. Like the guy was a king of schmooze, and he could just and he was good at what he did. I mean, you watch him tape. I mean, there's so many things that like. My mentors, Eric, Kyoki, Cindy. There's so many things that I took from each of them, and it's funny because my wife will see little bits of Eric in when I interact with some of the kids, and I'm proud of that, to be honest. But so initially, I thought, I wouldn't mind working in the college level, and then once I started in the high school, I thought, okay, I'll take a job in the DOE. And we'll see what kind of what happens, and I knew that when I started working at Wailua, as much as I loved it out there, I didn't think I would stay out there. I'm from Kaneohe, I'd been to Wailua, maybe I could probably count on one hand how many times I've been to Wailua before starting working out there. I thought that a college setting would be where I wanted to end up, and a lot of us kept an eye on positions at UH, but once I started working in the high schools, I went to Wailua for 6-7 years. Okay. Then a position opened up at your alma mater at Moanlua, and then I was there for about 13 years. Once I I think that was more my niche, was the high school. Because initially that was my dream, was to work with high school kids as a teacher, and then when athletic training came along, you kind of watch Eric and watch. Just that setting, I thought this is pretty. It's an exciting setting to be at. Yep. But especially in Hawaii, high school sports is huge. Yeah. I mean, it's when you get the intensity, because the postseason play and you got these big matches. You can't. Even at Wailua, it's funny because one of my top games early on in my career was they weren't as competitive, but. It was a JV game against Kalani, and we squeaked out a win, and this was like maybe my first year there, and I thought, oh, this is cool, It just been watching these kids compete and stuff. So that's when I thought, okay, I can stay at this level, and then so I just kind of, I don't want to say bounced around, but when opportunities arose, I put my name in certain hats to see what would happen.
Yes, and it's those are once in a lifetime opportunities, but like you said, I think it worked out for the better, actually, because and I can relate to this again too, because honestly, Eric and Brian, they were the only ones that told me, try to apply for the NFL. That wasn't even on my radar. I was thinking like, sure. And then once I started going through the process, it's like, oh, maybe this can actually happen, and then once you get hired, then it's like, okay, I'm here. And then after that, I kind of went through the same process in that super great experience. Wouldn't trade it for the world, because a lot of that has helped me in the future, in my future career. But you know what it's like. I mean, in the NFL, you're just going to keep bouncing around until you get a full-time slot, assistant slot, or if you want to go further. And for some people, that's their niche, or that's the lifestyle that they want, right? But me, I'm just like you, local boy at heart. It's like, I don't think that's where I really wanted to be and where I could make the biggest difference. Granted, I never thought I would have been stuck in a clinic for that long, but even those experiences, right? You got to kind of decide, okay, where do I want to pursue next? And then for you, I think in the high school, like you said, you wanted to be a teacher, work around these athletes. I think you can probably make a bigger impact, I want to say, in the high school setting versus like college and professional, because a lot of the developmental phase, not only with physicality and injuries and stuff, even like just the mental side. The mental side, like watching them grow, like a lot of development goes through from freshman to senior year. From 13 to 18, and then that's where, just being around people that serve as role models, that support them, I think that's definitely something that you have provided in all of these different settings, right? So as you were moving around, well, I can ask you now, was it always your dream to go back to your alma mater at Kamehameha?
You know what? in high school, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach at Kamehameha.
Got it.
You know, so that, I guess, yeah, in that sense, yeah. But then, you know, I attended UH, and like I said, it was a bargain. You know, even at that time, it was like less than $1,000 a semester. You know, and so again, I wasn't in a mad rush to graduate, but when I got exposure to, you know, D1 athletic training and just having that experience, I thought, okay, you know, college, you know, like I'd said, college might be an interesting thing, and then we get the pro experience, but in all reality, with pro, you know, there's not a whole lot of job security. The money is great, you know, obviously, but the job security, the head athletic trainer that I worked under, you know, he's no longer in the NFL. So when I think his last stint he closed out his career with the NFL when June Jones had left. He was the interim. So around that time was when he was kind of getting phased out, and because, you know, head coaches work with, you know, they want to bring in their crew, and that includes the athletic trainers as well. But yeah, it was at the back of my mind when I started working. You know, I worked for Cindy when she had her first child, and I thought, yeah, this wouldn't be, you know, wasn't be too bad. And at the time, you've seen our facility now, and back when I worked, I think I was maybe 5 years out of high school. It was the same facility that we had then, and it was modest, you know. It was nothing like what we have now. But it's something about, you know, because I can relate to the kids, you know, and for me, like a lot of the athletes we have now, I went to high school with their parents. So I mean, it's such a big family, you know. It's like it's not just on the athletic training level. It's the whole Ohana aspect. You know, we have a great our medical services program. You know, system is super supportive. So I mean, I found home, and I'm in my retirement job, I think. So.
No, it's interesting how everything comes full circle, right?